Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and I just wanted to touch upon something really cool that I found a couple of years ago, and it crossed my mind today, and I just thought I'd show it on camera because it was kind of interesting. Let me see if I can get some light going in this picture. For some reason, my apartment's always been very dark. Yeah, it's pretty good. So, I've dabbled over the years in role-playing games, and when I say role-playing games, I don't mean Skies of Arcadia, Final Fantasy, Suikoden. I mean role-playing games in terms of, pen and paper RPGs where they, I guess, originally came from. So I have, a bunch of them. I got Dungeons and Dragons. I got an old copy of Vampire, not the Masquerade. Is it? It's one of them. Paranoia, Shadowrun, which is my favorite universe, and I love all the video games, but the rules for me are always difficult. I'm not very good at math, and in terms of like being quick on your feet to think things up, yes, but to do the stats and all that stuff, I'm not good at. If you don't know what a pen and paper role-playing game is, you're probably better off looking it up than listening to me, but it's kind of like part imagination, part kind of just hanging out with your friends and talking and bullshitting and joking, and then playing or role-playing a certain character. I've always played, what did I play as? I was a thief at one point in a Dungeons and Dragons game, and I was trying to steal everything, and some people go the extra step and they act like the person, they put on an accent or do certain things. I just try to have a good time and hang out with my friends when I do or when I have played. And you roll dice to determine the outcomes of fights, or maybe trying to open up a box, or whatever the dungeon master or game master is throwing at you. He's kind of the one who runs the game, sets up the maps, talks to you and tells you what you see. He's your ears and eyes, but he can also screw you over. A big one I used to play was all the time was Delta Green, which is a Call of Cthulhu mod. Delta Green was kind of like X-Files-ish, mixed with a little more horror, I would say. So I found these a couple years ago, and I thought they were pretty cool. I never played them, but I picked them up. So they kind of tie in with the whole video game thing, and it is Street Fighter, the storytelling game, which is a main portion of what role-playing is. So, for instance, here's Ryu, or Ryu, if you will, and it gives you all his statistics. So if you were to, I guess, play as him, I don't know if you can play as him. I didn't really read this. I know one of my books, it shows you if you want to use them as like an NPC or a character, but you can't play as them. You have to make your own. Anyhow, you can, I guess you could play as these certain characters, and then, like for instance, Dhalsim, his strength is a 4 out of 5. So this is completely off the top of my head. If you have to break through a door and you're Dhalsim, his strength is a 4 out of 5, so you have a better chance of breaking that door than if you are I'm picking all the people here that are strong. I can't find anyone who's not too strong in the physical department. Anyhow, let's just pick someone small, whoever. So you would roll maybe more dice, or when you roll the dice you'd have a better chance, or maybe a point you'd have to hit. Like if you roll a d6, or 6-sided die, and you have to roll a 6 to break through a door, maybe you'd only have to roll a 3 because your character is really strong. The main point of the role-playing games is just having fun, sitting around with your friends, bullshitting, laughing, joking, eating snacks. It's kind of like going into another world with your imagination, which is funny because as you become an adult, you kind of tend to pull back from imagination, but for me, a lot of it is still there in terms of going off in other places in my head. So it's the Street Fighter role-playing game, and as you can see, it has a lot of the characters from Super Street Fighter. So it's Super Street Fighter 2 characters. Then I have the Player's Guide, and this will explore facets of street fighting, discovering truths about Blanca's nature, special maneuvers, cybernetics. So this adds a bunch of stuff and different kinds of abilities and different kinds of move sets, or like Shotokan Karate, different kinds of characters you can pick from, and fighting abilities that aren't in the main book. They always do this with role-playing games. they'll put out a main book to get you started. Then if you really get into it, like I always enjoy it, but it's a lot of reading. I mean, this is nothing for an RPG book. Some of the Dungeons and Dragons ones look like 3 times the size. Shadowrun ones are huge. I have one based on the movie Ghost Dog, and it's tiny, but I never really had anyone to play with. So, you know, you could add new stuff to your characters with this book. So you'd have to go out and buy this book, and this book is $12.99 or $12.95. And then I got this one, The Perfect Warrior, which looks to be a adventure. So if you're the DM or the GM, if you will, the Dungeon Master or the Game Master, and maybe you're not good at coming up with ideas, maybe you can't really make up a scenario or a plot for these people to play through, you can use a book like this, and it gives you adventures, it gives you modules or things to set up. So you could say, it says here, where to from here. If the characters are defeated in this battle, the lightning fists bind them and pack them into crates in one of their cars, leaving them until they are well off the train. So it gives you the almost like a choose your own adventure to play with the people you're playing with in case you can't come up with things on the spot. So I have very good experiences and a lot of fun with a group of friends that I used to play Delta Green with. This guy Roxy Steve, gentleman from England, great guy, very good imagination, really fleshed everything out, made it a lot of fun. I just thought this was cool because it kind of tied into video games, because you don't see too much in terms of the crossover, or maybe you do. I mean, years ago the PC had Vampire the Masquerade Redemption, and Vampire the Masquerade was a pen and paper game. Dungeons and Dragons, you will see a lot of video games in the Dungeons and Dragons universe. So maybe I'm wrong, maybe they do tie over a lot, but because they go hand in hand. You're using your imagination to play a game and using stats, or you're using, a video game with stats and sort of your imagination, but more of it's in your face with a video game. So just figured I'd show that off on this horrible snow day, and that's it. Hope you guys liked what you saw, and I guess if you have any questions, let me know. I'm not the be-all end-all in terms of talking about role-playing games by any means, but I do love talking about things I enjoy in general. So thanks guys for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.